Hello Trenders, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to week 2 of the Tears of the Kingdom content. I'll try and sprinkle in the Twilight Princess retrospective sometimes, but here we are today. So we've known about the Sky Islands inclusion in Tears of the Kingdom for a real long time now, ever since E3 2021, which is around a year and a half ago now, which is just crazy. But so much of the mystery behind the game is still shrouded behind these Sky Islands. Initially it seemed like they wouldn't play too much of a part since we still had a lot of the original Hyrule. Then the recent trailer for the game showed us, for the most part, that the Sky Islands would be a big part of the world. I mean, it was the main focal point of the trailer, but even though it showed us a load of Sky Islands almost everywhere, we also had signs that the Sky Islands weren't such a focus from the floor. I mean, look at the final shot of the trailer. These Sky Islands are the only ones in that direction, and there's not many within Link's line of sight despite him being pretty high in the sky. While this video won't be as analytical as many others, as usual, I just want to speculate and have fun with the content, so let's do some crafting on what the Sky Islands deal could be since there are a ton of possibilities. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video so we can try and push for 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I would love for you to be part of future videos and comment sections. So what's the most obvious thing to discuss when it comes to the Sky Islands? Their height. Judging by the 2 trailers of this game that we've had, it's pretty safe to assume that this game will be focusing wholly on verticality within the world, which is yet another reason why I think caves will be in the next game, but that's on a whole different other topic. Moral of the story is, these islands are really high up. In the newest trailer we see Link jumping into the clouds, looking down to the lands below, so it's likely that most of the Sky Islands are going to be covered up by clouds when looking from the floor. One piece of evidence being the 2021 trailer, showing us floor shots with no Sky Islands in sight, and also the newest trailer only having one that's visible over on the east side of the map at a fairly high altitude compared to anything we're used to in Breath of the Wild. The running theory, or at least the theory I'm believing, is that the shot of the trailer with Link climbing on tree roots all the way up in the sky is the DEKU tree. Of course, there are trees in the Sky Islands, so what's driving people to run with that theory? Well, it's the fact that the root Link is climbing on is easily the size of a normal tree. Unless the player is at the very top of the tree root, I highly doubt that this is just any normal tree, meaning that it's likely the Great Deku Tree, or if it's not, then it's at least of some sort of significance. There is a chance that the Zelda team just wanted to show us that you can't climb on the sides of the Sky Islands, and honestly, I can't really say anything against that. We haven't really seen the sides of all the islands yet. Maybe you usually have to get up each island using a different method if you're trying to go up higher, and this is showing us one of the few times where we'll have to be climbing different materials to get up on an island because it's too high up. Anyway, for this video I'm running with the theory that the Great Deku Tree is at the top of this shot way up in the sky. As some were theorising about this before the trailer, I think that it could mean that the Great Deku Tree has something to do with a dungeon, or at least the main plot of the game. Now I'm going to go into very speculative territory here, but bear with me. Let's say that the Zonai are one of the main plot points of the next game. It seems like they will be, though it's yet to be seen if we'll outright see them or not. Out of everybody who's lived in Hyrule for the last 10,000 or so years since the original Calamity, not the one we fought in Breath of the Wild, who has been around the longest? Who has likely been around just long enough so that he would see or at least hear everything that's happening in Hyrule? There's only one person who we know that's lived that long through what we know. Maybe Link is asking for more details on the Zonai that lived long before him. We don't really know, but I think it's possible, and I think it shows us that, while this is very obvious, the Sky Islands will be taking certain characters out of their comfort zones, especially the Deku Tree in this case. Enough about that though, back to Sky Islands in general. As Link jumps through the clouds in the newest trailer, another thing that we can see is the bottom of one of these Sky Islands. In the last trailer for the game, we saw an ability used by Link so that he could phase through ceilings, maybe floors too, but that's yet to be seen. If so, then huge sticks forming from the bottom of the island could be used to get onto each island in the first place, especially since these islands don't seem to go up quite as high as some of them in this trailer. Personally speaking, I don't think we'll start the game and then the Sky Islands will just be readily available. I don't know why, I just have a feeling that they will want to tell some sort of story behind them before throwing all of the characters we know into a brand new area. Last week I uploaded a video discussing caves in the next game, and while the vast majority of people were down for the idea and thought that caves might be in the next game to a much larger degree than in previous entries, a lot of people feel like the shot in the 2021 trailer of a cave looking area could have been inside of the Sky Islands. Which would make a little bit of sense, considering we can see the little prongs sticking out from the bottom of the islands now. It's a pretty safe bet to assume that if there are caves within the islands, that using our phasing ability could take us to the bottom of a small area below the surface of a Sky Island. Though that's probably a whole other topic to cover when we have a bit more information on it, since this is completely speculative and it's crazy. The Sky Islands in general look beautiful. As much as I loved the overworld in Breath of the Wild and some areas like Akala look stunning, and as much as every frame in that game looked like it could have been a painting, the next game looked better for a couple of reasons, I'd guess. One, this game isn't also being developed for the Wii U, a fact that I sometimes forget when it comes to the technological aspect of the game, and two, we're going really high up in the sky. As I've said a few times, I've brought the Sky Islands into conversation. The mountains were my favourite places in Breath of the Wild's world. They provide some of the best views, and that's why my outros are usually set around mountaintops, so you can get a good look at a view from the game. While Sky Islands are the evolution of that beauty, they're even higher and will likely offer even more in terms of looks, and while it seems pretty off topic to even bring that up, I think it's a really cool thing that I just can't wait for in the future. Okay, two final things to talk about. One is the dragon we see in the newest trailer, something that I didn't even notice in my first 5 or so viewings. In fact, I didn't even hear about it until the Zelda analysis video, and it blew my mind. For those who haven't seen it yet, here you go. A dragon, or at least something very weird, can be seen just kind of floating around next to a couple of the Sky Islands. I plan to make a more in-depth video on this at some point with more research done, but it definitely looks like a brand new dragon. To me at least, it doesn't look like Naydra, Farosh, or Dimral, which is very interesting since there isn't 4 goddesses who created the lands of Hyrule, at least to my knowledge anyway, but I do need to look back at some of the lore, so maybe I'm just untrained at the minute and shouldn't even be talking about this, but I would say that in terms of the Sky Islands, I think if there are even more dragons in the next game, or if there are more creatures in the sky at least that are like dragons, since we don't have conclusive evidence to suggest this definitely is a dragon to this point in time, it could technically just be a brand new brand of sky creature, but it's definitely interesting and I'm pretty excited to learn more up to the game's release. The penultimate thing I want to talk about are the giant structures seen in the last couple of trailers. I've seen a lot of people suggest that there are 2 upside down pyramids in 2 different locations, but I can't really see it. I personally think that the footage is taken from 2 different angles, but what could this building be? Because it seems like some sort of significance. While I still think it could either be a settlement or a dungeon, I have no evidence to back this up, but my speculative eye on it makes me think that the footage we got for the delay of the game shows Link at the top of the inverted pyramid, getting his first tear, or whatever this glowing orb is supposed to be, at the end of a dungeon. Dungeon? Dungeon? Apparently I say that weird, but I don't know, it must just be my accent, I'm sorry. One final thing to bring up is Skyward Sword references in the Sky Islands. We only have one other game and island really in the series where it's just kind of floating, and that's with Skyward Sword. I think if time travel is involved in some way in the next game, that we will definitely be seeing parts of Skyloft flying on different islands. Breath of the Wild thrived on those sorts of references, and seeing even more of them would just be great, especially since it just makes sense in this case. Here are some thoughts on the Sky Islands as given to me by my Twitter followers. Thanks for the thoughts, guys and girls. Some really great opinions came in as usual. If you want the chance to be featured here next week, make sure to follow my Twitter at Triforce Trends. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, then please do support the channel by leaving a like rating and subscribing. You'll get news as quick as possible for Tears of the Kingdom, and you'll join the 25% of people who are subscribed, so thank you a ton if you do. The people you can see on screen right now are my Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for the support, guys. Sumju and Jarroweden are especially amazing for being my top paying patrons. Just look at the Triforce coloured names and that Triforce font. Thank you so much for the support as usual, it means the world. If you'd like to join them, then you can do for as little as £1 or $1.50 a month. The link to my Patreon is in the description, and other social platforms are also in the description. Plus, I recently made a membership in which you can become heroes on the channel. Just press that join button if you want to join. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on Sunday once again, maybe even before if I can. Please do, stay safe.